All right. Good morning. Happy Friday to everybody. And welcome to another day of the markets. So it is May 14th, 2021. My name is Jared, and this is Engineering the Markets. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with our SPY. So nice bounce yesterday. We were anticipating at least a market reaction yesterday based on some general trend lines that we have on a lot of our indices. And what was nice is that most of our indices were coming into this trend line area at the same time. So if there was one reaction, let's see, there's an echo. Looking for, I think if it's not widespread, I think we're good. Yeah, I recommend restarting the room if you do hear an echo. But actually, it's on YouTube. Let me test this out real quick. YouTube echo. So we have disparity between YouTube sound and chat sound. All right, let's do a quick test. Audio is still pretty bad on YouTube. Let's see, testing. Okay, looks like we're good. All right. So for those on YouTube, welcome to Friday. Apparently Friday is a day of technical issues, but it is May 14th, 2021. My name is Jared. It's Engineering the Markets. Let's get into it. So we're talking about how our SPY market bouncing off the 50-day moving average and coming into a notable trend line on the daily chart. What we liked about yesterday's bounce is that there was a lot of other indices coming into their relative trend lines, and with the fact that all three of them did react quite strongly off the trend line, we got a nice bounce day yesterday, especially in the morning sessions. We can see that on the SPY in the 4-hour with this trend line support. And the SPY did in fact start to get moving before coming to test it, which is actually indicative of slightly more bullish price action, as opposed to having to come all the way down and sort of capitulate at this line. If we zoom in on the 4-hour, we see that the reaction so far has been quite strong from low to high. And what we're scouting for now is not necessarily a return to all-time highs, but we're starting to really see what is the level of the retracement so far. And when you think about it, the market did fall from 423.59 down to, let's see what's our actual number here, 4027 on the SPY. And so far we've recovered about 50% of that in the course of a day, if not two after hour and pre-market sessions. So that relative bounce is impressive, but it's also indicative of what we expect moving forward. When we look at our daily, we cannot say that that's necessarily going to be the low. No one knows that for sure. But what we can say is that given the size of the retracement, we are scouting for some sort of lower high on the daily. And at that point, when we see that lower high being set, most likely the 20-period moving average or some sort of previous support turn resistance, when we get that set, we will look to see, can the bulls form the next higher low and start to form some sort of balance zone, equilibrium. You can call it a pennant depending on how it forms. Overall, they're going to likely compress this range and then decide if they want to break it to the downside again, or look to actually change trend on short time frames, 1 hour and 4 hour, and then ultimately the daily time frame if they start to shift it back into the bull direction. But right now, since we're looking just for intraday and short-term swing opportunities, what we'd like to see is that there was a reaction in the right area, and that reaction has some decent follow-through so far. So ultimately, had you looked to the bullish side yesterday, I think you would have been generally rewarded. And now we're coming into some spots that may act as short-term resistance. We certainly want to clear this area first, which is where we started to break down on the spot. And as we look at our 1 hour, we see volume profile showing us that we were able to return back into the VA range. We were able to clear the VA low. Market did actually consolidate a bit around this spot, and this was near the afternoon session. And so far, the continuation has been taking place in pre-market. We know that the upper VPOC, which was the range that we fell from throughout some of this weakness in the overall equities markets, is still sitting at about 417.50. And so far, so good. You know, the bulls did prove it to us yesterday. Now what they need to do is start to change the trend, which is significantly in the bearish control during the downtrend that was formed. When we look at our QQQs, once again, the entire theme and direction is slightly different. We do have significant weakness in the Qs. We can see that this daily trend line so far has held. And we also see that the reaction yesterday was at this trend line. So far, so good. What's different is that not only has the downside been much more significant, but if we look at the pullback so far, we're not even close to even 38.2 or not even anywhere near 50%. So notable weakness in the tech or just QQQ indice, and that's noted by the fact that the retracement so far is not nearly as strong as the SPY. So when it comes to a more shallow retracement, the likelihood or the probability of continuation is still in play. So what we need to see is other markets start to get more bullish and allow for the tech sector to hold, consolidate this lower range, maybe even compress it in some sort of reversal type structure. Think head and shoulders, think sort of inverse head and shoulders, and think maybe cup and handle on the downside. If they can form that structure, then when other markets are potentially breaking to the upside, tech can at the very least follow through with some of that momentum. But until that occurs, tech is continuing to show weakness, and we simply have not seen the same recovery on these bounce attempts. So it's always important to see who's winning on the bounce, who's kind of taking the lead position, and why. We'll look into the why in just a moment. And then finally, as we look at our volume profile over the past 30 days, similar to the SPY, the VPOC is sitting well above us, but dissimilar to the SPY, we do have a lot of value set above, and we have not come back into this value range as of yet. That's indicated by the size of the bounce so far. And essentially what we're looking at is we are back into that more volatile period of time that we saw in March, where 325 acted as a strong area of resistance. What we wanted them to do on this double bottom was hold, because a loss of this area and the back test, which confirmed that it is acting as resistance, is bringing us back into a lower range. And when we look at the daily, we saw how long it took us to get out of this range. I'll just look at a very simple set of indicators here, but essentially the Qs spent a ton of time here consolidating. We got strong bounces, pullbacks. We oscillated quite a bit. And unfortunately, we are back in this area, which means we're going to need some additional compression like we saw with this bull flag setup in order to get back above. And if we can't, the trend line is at risk. Ultimately, the bearish volume, the fact that the retracement is shallow, everything is looking as if the bears are still in control until we get some change in overall direction or just compression of this range to give us a better sense of who is about to break out or break down. So the posture on the Qs is still pessimistic in the short term. We do need the bulls to prove it to us. So far, they have not. And that's the thesis we need to carry forward until we see the right signals in this market. IWM, we had drawn out this potential trend line. And what we saw is that the market once again did react off of this area. It is a short-term reaction. We're only looking for intraday and swing opportunities in this time frame, but so far so good. Markets were in the right spot across the board. That led to yesterday's reaction to the upside. And so far, we are seeing this market hold this double bottom area with a slight lean on the second low. hence the trend line. Now, just like the other markets, we want to see what kind of retracement are we looking at. I would say that it's quite similar to the QQQ in that we haven't really seen the same type of reaction as the SPY. The small caps are notably weaker. We've seen that on the daily with a lack of follow through, a lack of all-time high creation and swing high, swing low on the trend. We've seen the IWM stay in a very large but somewhat distributive range to the upside. And we also note that on the weekly, if I clear some of this information, we note that on the weekly, this is the first time that the IWM is at risk of closing below the weekly 20 period moving average. So IWM, something to keep on watch. We're seeing bearish signals across certain indices. And what we are looking at now is a market that is at risk of losing some of our major trend line supports. So far, so good. We are still in play on these trend lines, but this was the attempt that was made yesterday. And ultimately, that attempt has had different results in different markets. The SPY attempt is strong. I would say that it's worth mentioning that we got a 50% retracement. IWM and QQQ, not nearly as strong. Still potential for a bear flag and a follow through this trend line, especially if we cannot have follow through in SPY after this pullback. So IWM, we know for multiple sessions that 221 to 222 is VPOC. We're simply coming back to test the lower end of that range. And ultimately, if the market does pull up slightly, we expect VPOC to be the overall target on this bounce. But until then, we're just looking at VA low. We're looking at a retracement that hasn't really pulled up significantly. And overall, the IWM still is sort of in flux. Some of the follow through is correlated to other markets. And sometimes IWM kind of does its own specific thing throughout the day. That's mostly due to some of the riskier biotech holdings and also financials, which we'll take a look at in just a moment with the XLF. So far so good with the SPY. We look at the XLF. We see that there was a bounce attempt made on the XLF. They were able to hold after a 3-day pullback. We're still sitting above the 20. The daily is still in a nice uptrend. So far so good. But we also know that the weekly is very extended. And essentially on this daily posture, we're asking ourselves, can the financials make a new all-time high in this position? Or will the attempt at a new high be met with resistance and the forming of either a double top or some sort of lower high on this bounce? So similar to the SPY, there's a lot of proving left to do after all of this downside momentum that we saw. The financials are trying to hang in there. The XLI is very similar. We saw a break of the 20 and then a recovery. So this break did not have a losing of the 20. We're able to come back above. We're still seeing things like XLE not necessarily fall, but also not necessarily bounce. So a little bit of consolidation in XLE. And that's met with some of the sort of choppier price action moving into the crude market. I would say that with crude, we do have this downtrend and this channel structure to keep in mind. And what's happening at this moment is potential for some range compression. We see that this is starting to tighten and this is starting to tighten. This can last for quite a while and lead us into that pennant structure, which will eventually break in one direction. So at this time, crude is on hold as we have made enough of a move from this lower range back to the upper area, and we are starting to compress. We will allow this compression to break in one direction. We'll look for the right signals on that breakout, and ultimately we will look to play that breakout whenever it does occur. Natural gas as well, still holding in the upper range, still very strong from the perspective of this trend. But so far, we have not seen the same follow through. So we remain on hold as this range continues. Some things that were notable yesterday on the bounce. We saw the VIX come off. Quite a significant drop in the volatility, which was nice to see. That led to potentially some of that upside. We got a little bit of a bullish drift in certain areas. And the VIX coming off is in the context of a significant high and a spike up. So if the VIX were to have another sort of uptick and a nice, I guess, breakout overall, we'd be looking to see, is it going to be similar to these larger VIX, I'll call them explosions, VIX breakouts. They're usually a 1 to 2 day event, and they do tend to be faded. But overall, this one has been notable. It's been a while since we've seen the VIX hold in these upper zones. And if they can sort of catch themselves on the downside, we could see that final sort of VIX pop up to, I would say, the 32.5 up to 35. Now, this is with obviously the tech sector being as weak as it is. If that tech sector really starts to break down, then the volatility may complement some of that downside momentum. We're still looking at things like TNX. We saw a huge move in the 10-year interest rate, and so far that has been faded. We're also seeing the bond market really start to fall back through this lower range. So weakness in tech, a little bit of upside momentum in 10-year interest rates, and bonds starting to come back down. The theme here is that, is this going to correlate and continue into next week? Or was this once again sort of a multi-day event where market participants decided to react to this action? I will say that we want to keep an eye on this because we haven't really gotten to some key levels in these larger time frame perspectives of the bond market and the 10-year interest rate. But so far, tech has still been our weakest sector. And with tech coming down, we want to see, is this going to continue and still be correlated to what's occurring here? And then finally, the dollar, little bit of oscillation here. You know, time frame and perspective is important. We are still rejecting off of the 20-day moving average. We're trying to hold this trend line on a false breakdown, but so far, you know, no real conviction on that bounce yet. So we will keep this on watch. I would say by next week, we should have a little bit more clarity as to what direction this wants to take. And then to complement that, gold and silver holding those upper ranges. We saw the notable pullback from a previous area of resistance, especially in silver. So far, they're holding the 20-day moving average. They are trending in this perspective. Gold is notably much stronger than silver, and there is potential here for that channel break if we are to compress this area a little bit further. But overall, we are still in this large channel structure on gold, and with this channel structure, we want to respect that every attempt to break out of that channel has failed in the past. So this is this set the channel. This is the first attempt. We are on the second attempt to break the channel. So we simply want to note what's occurring in the past, talk about what potential we have moving forward, and note the correlations with things like the dollar to say that if the dollar were to break down, we would expect gold and silver to do some sort of bullish breakout, some sort of bullish pattern. If they do not, then that is a notable change in that correlation. But if they do, the correlation remains intact, and we can use it moving forward to continue to analyze these markets. All right, so finally, thing that a lot of people are talking about these days is Bitcoin and some of the notable volatility we saw yesterday. So if we look at Bitcoin, and I'll start off on the weekly time frame. We are looking at a market that is somewhat range bound in this upper range. We've seen multiple all-time highs set in the past with no follow through. And the most recent all-time high, roughly 65,000, was met with a very volatile drop down to about 46 to 47,000. I think 47 was the actual print. So on that drop, we need to recognize that there is a lack of momentum on all of these all-time high breaks. And when we saw the recovery bounce, we were scouting a lower high on the daily and on the weekly. We'll look at the daily just to show how that formed. So we got this volatile drop. We saw the recovery bounce, lower high, and then a break of this low confirmed this daily downtrend. Now, what's interesting is so far, we did break this recent low, but we have not seen follow through. So bulls are still attempting to hold this area, given that this low has not been closed below as of yet. So we got our recovery bounce, similar idea with Fibonacci retracements. You want to see what is the most likely scenario on this bounce. Do we expect it to consolidate, sort of form an equilibrium? Is it more of a bear flag structure where there's a lack of follow through? Or if it's a significant retracement, you would even expect a very quick trend change, and that's some of your cup and handle, head and shoulder type structures where the retracement is so large that essentially the drop itself was not really met with a lot of follow through, a lot of conviction. Now with Bitcoin in this position, we know that this low and the most recent low are some of our most important levels, because this low set this range, and on this recovery bounce, we did come to test this low, and we have not yet closed below it on the daily perspective, at least. That's also met with the idea that the weekly is starting to try and hold a lower support zone in the form of a 23 to 26 EMA. You know, the perspective here is always going to be subjective with what EMA you're choosing, but you're looking for, does this market use this EMA in the past? Something like a 23 to 26 is close enough. If I bring this down to a 23, we see some good reactions here and some good crossing action here, which led to the breakout. We also see the reaction so far on this bounce attempt. And with our monthly perspective, we note that this is the first time in the breakout that we have seen a new monthly low be printed. We have also not yet made a new monthly high as of last month. That last all-time high was made, and if this month were to close in its current position, we can see this monthly consolidation starting to form. So the posture here is that we are losing some momentum in the Bitcoin space. It's obvious with the change in the sentiment. We're seeing news reactions that are actually breaking key levels. in a bullish market, bullish sentiment, that tends to not be the case. You'll have negative news be met with sort of a nominal drop or just a non-reaction. And you'll see positive news met with a breakout or some sort of strong reaction in the form of the trend or the direction of the trend. In this particular position, we are seeing that sort to change where these reactions are taking place. And the news isn't necessarily dramatic, but the reaction is in the form of breaking key levels and necessarily seeing, the reaction in the space relative to other coins. So if this reaction also carries over into something like the altcoin space, which we did see Ethereum come down and react similar to Bitcoin, albeit the upper trend is still well intact, and we're even seeing a nice recovery so far. We simply want to note that conditions have changed. Bitcoin in the short term may not be the best area to look for bullish setups because the bullish momentum has shifted. It is trying to catch its wind, catch its support, catch its legs, whatever you want to call it. Whereas other coins may be a more attractive area for breakouts or general bullish sentiment overall. So moving forward, one of the key things to keep in mind is that with Bitcoin in this position, we're looking very closely at this 47 level and saying, is this drop, which did crack this level, it broke it, is it going to have follow through? Are they going to pull this up, reject at another key resistance zone, and then actually close below it? If that happens, then our monthly consolidation is well underway, and we will be scouting for a monthly higher low for the next attempt at a breakout. And that monthly higher low, depending on how far it comes down, similar to the fib retracement idea, if it comes down 23 to 38%, that could be potential monthly bull flag. Comes down 50%, we'll probably scout for a monthly lower high, and so on and so on. It just depends on how this forms and the overall pullback that we do get, the retracement. Depending on the style of the retracement and the volume included, those things can be probabilistically sort of calculated, and we can determine what our targets are on some of these bounces or even on the drops themselves. So with that said, I think I claimed back some of my my earlier time from the audio issues. So my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Some opportunity today with the crypto space. We see Mara and Riot having a strong pre-market. Got a little bit of action in things like Plug and some of the alternative energy space. So definitely some tickers to keep in mind, but with a market in flux and the fact that it's Friday, keep your wits about you. We have option expiration today, so there might be a little bit more nuance to some of the price action as we are rolling some of those option contracts forward in time. So take it easy, trade safe. We'll talk to each other come next week, and see y'all soon.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you had a great day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning, buddy. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing real good, real good. All right, guys. Let's get to it. We have a whole lot on our gappers list this morning. A lot sitting here in the green, not so much in the red today. Obviously, with the market being up slightly this morning, and also having a great day yesterday. So as far as being green, so looking forward to see what some of this stuff is going to do here. A lot of the same old names, just kind of flip flopping back and forth here, going from the red side to the green side and back and forth. So we'll see what kind of action we have in for this Friday. Before we get to this list, Norm, let's do a quick update on anything that we expected on Friday, which probably shouldn't be much, but just in case.
No, we've got a ton, man. All right. We just had retail sales and retail sales without autos released, much weaker than expected. So I think that's what's caused the SPY to drop just a little bit here. Nothing too crazy. Import price index and such just came out. And then at 9:15, we've got industrial production capacity utilization as well. 10 a.m. consumer sentiment. We'll see how that goes in business inventories. And then I think the Dallas Fed president speaking at 1 o'clock. So with that inflation data that came out earlier this week, should be maybe interesting to see what he says, what his thoughts are. And we'll see. You know, we've had some rough days for longs in the SPY
Yep.
recently, and we had that big bounce yesterday. We'll see if it holds. We'll see if people care to take long positions before we go to the weekend here. So that's where we sit, brother.
Yep, sounds good. All right, guys, we're not gonna go over what we had yesterday because I didn't really watch these stocks closely. I know there was a lot of movement with all the way the SPY was moving and everything else, but again, I didn't really trade the market open, so we won't go through them as I don't know how the price action actually was. So, with that said, let's jump in right into our list, starting with what's gapping down today. Let's start the opposite because not a whole lot there. We do have Disney this morning on here. Wow, Disney's down 4.3, 510,000 shares traded so far. So big drop yesterday after hours. I am assuming there's some earnings stuff going on here.
Yep.
Yeah, there's earnings.
Earnings, and they had weaker than expected subscriber growth to their Disney Plus platform, and their parks are recovering more slowly than anticipated from COVID shutdowns and everything else. So, the stock has been on a tear over the not too distant past. So,
Hmm.
not too surprising to see it pull back some
Yeah,
on
that's
that.
not surprising at all. People want to get outside. Is weather starting to get nice here in the Northeast at least, and things are opening up. Yeah, we've been stuck in front of the TV for too long now. It's time to do something else. Here's VALE. This one is down 2.3 this morning. Not a whole lot of volume right now. Only 152,000 shares traded. As you can see, not a great pre-market action. I do like the drop here, losing this level 21. A great level of resistance that was support for at least a few days ago and yesterday. At least you try to hold on that level. Let's see how you actually traded yesterday. It doesn't look good neither. I'm not sure if anybody saw this, but it doesn't look great as far as everything else that probably we had on here. So on the fence on this one, let's go ahead and remove this list, by the way, from yesterday so we don't confuse ourselves here. Let's get in some new rows. Here we go. All right, there it is. And then let's start to put some stuff on here. So, Disney, when you talk about Disney is interesting. Could be in
Yeah,
play.
we
It is
did.
in play. Oh, yeah. I'm
We
saying we
talked about,
didn't.
yeah.
We talked about it, but we didn't add it to the list. Disney is in
Oh,
place, guys. Yeah, this is in play for sure. Again, it can be funky at times where you trades. I do like this drop here down 4.4, especially with the market being up. This one being down. Yeah, I think this one could be interesting. Might not stay here depending on how we go through our gappers list. We might find something that looks a little better. But right now, this is definitely there. And then this one here, guys, on the fence. I'm not going to add it yet. I think we'll find something better in our gapping up list for
yeah.
sure. So I'm going to skip on that one. Low flow, 2.9 million IHT this morning. Good pre-market action starting here around 8 o'clock or so. 870,000 shares traded. Looking good right now. Getting a little bit of an ABCD pattern action going on here. The last couple of days, this thing has popped up pretty good. From 2 to 6, from 3.5 to 6. And so forth. So again, it's got a good couple of pops here. What was interesting on this one though is every high is making newer higher lows every time here on the daily. So that is interesting. Let's see if we can now. The highest thing we have here in the recent times is $9. Let's see if we can get back up there. So that's looking pretty good. Interesting for our low flow of the day today, IHT. Heading on down here, we do have AEVA. So AEVA this morning, the 15.3% up this morning. Pre-market action is just horrible at the moment. So I'm not sure about this one. We'll skip it for now. If it gets better, you can throw it back out to us. Bngo, BNGO here. This one is sitting at up 14.4 this morning. 2.1 million shares traded with a decent pre-market activity. This one does look good today, guys.
They had earnings last night, so they do definitely have a catalyst there.
Beautiful. Hamish, you're telling me IHT is a REIT? We'll check on that.
It is a REIT. Yeah.
Okay. So that's not fun. That's not going to trade too well. Although this pre-market action does look quite interesting,
I mean,
right?
It's trading better than most REITs do. It's a low float, so I'm guessing it's being pump and dump action a little bit, or chat rooms trading it or something like that. But I won't have it on my list because it's a REIT. So.
Yeah, that could trade pretty bad. Looking at the next one here, FSR. This one this morning up 14%, 949,000 shares traded. Also has a decent pre-market activity. Let's add this one on here. Not sure if it will stay there, but we'll put it on there for now. Plug definitely on our list, guys. Plug is just fun to watch, fun to trade. Right now, 12.8 million shares traded. It is up 12.8 right now. So yeah, let's put that one on here. Plug is definitely a good one to keep an eye on. Oops. Let's remove some of that. There it is. There's Plug, 2.3 million, up 13%. That looks nice. LFMD, 16 million shares flow in, but the pre-market action doesn't look great at all. So we'll skip on that one. Volume is too light for this to be on our list right now. Heading down, we do have Mara. So again, we did touch on Bitcoin earlier with Jared in the engineering DeMarcus. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you appreciate what he's doing every single morning. Mara and some of the Bitcoin stuff up today after being, again, slammed continuously, just on a downtrend here. At least Mara at the moment, it is down. It is up, 9.1, 521,000 shares traded. I think this one could be in play. It's just funky at times with these Bitcoin type plays. So we'll have Mara, we have Riot. Both of them are in play. Both of them great volume. They're both up this morning after a couple of red days here. We'll come back to those. I'm going to put them as a possible now. We'll probably keep Mara on our main list. Heading down, we do have Dash. Dash taking some action here last night after I was earning.
Yeah, they had earnings.
Right, they're up 7.8. The issue with Dash, guys, is not a great intraday trading stock. Therefore, I won't be putting it on my list. Again, it just doesn't trade very well. Very light on volume. They do have earnings, so they're getting a nice little pop here after just being hammered the last couple of days, guys. Heading down from 165 in a matter of 2-3 weeks down to 110 is the lowest point here. So pretty bad stuff there. And their IPO price is all the way up in the 180 or so. So again, it's just interesting what's happening here with Dash. Overall, not doing well if you look at the big picture, but a little bit of a bounce here that could change things around maybe. Just the way it trades is just not great. Futu this morning, they are up 5.3, 289. Again, a couple of really wide bars here on the daily. If you do like to trade this one, it could be interesting to watch this morning. I don't like the way it moves, so I'll take it off my list. I won't put it on my list. Fuel Cell today, they are up 5.2, 433,000 shares traded. So some good volume. Pre-market is okay. We definitely see better out of them. We know they can get the volume, right? We know they're up there 20 million a day, even when they're not in play. So the volume is good for this one. We just have to see, is it going to trade well today? Maybe a possible for the most part. We do have some other plays in here as far as battery. We have a Plug. We have some other ones down here we can take a look at also. Some more Bitcoin. CAN is on here. This one, again, doesn't trade as great, so I'll keep that on my list. Tiger, TIGR, doesn't look good, guys. Only 100,000, just barely getting over that $100,000 mark there as far as volume, up 4.4. But aside from that, I don't see anything great on here. Envis, this one, I'm not sure. It had a couple of really good times here where we took a couple of scalps. That was fun. Lately, just look at the chart between levels here between 15, 76, and 14. We're slightly below that now. But again, just for the way this thing trades, it is not a low flow. It's sitting at 156, but again, it can trade almost like one. I'm not seeing anything interesting as far as this. The only thing probably interesting is that it's trying to hold this 14. This area of support here, this previous day close. Maybe you get a nice little squeeze here and a pop but just be careful on that one. AMC this morning, they've been making some noise over the last couple of days. Today they are up 4% right now. Big day yesterday for them here. Possible continuation. Great volume, guys. 3.3 million shares traded. This could be fun today for a possible continuation. Let's see what AMC has for us. All right, let's stop here. Heading down, we do have some other ones. I'm just going to look at some of the ones that we tend to like. NEO is on here today. Not great volume, but they do have a pop of 2.2. I just wish they had a little bit more volume there. I'm going to add them as a possible because we do like NEO and the way it trades. I know a lot of you guys like Tesla, so we'll take a look at that as well. Let's see Tesla today, if they look any better. Tesla this morning, so guys, it's getting a little bit of a pop. Not a whole lot of action as far as volume in the pre-market. NKLA is another one. ICE, PLTR. Yeah, so we'll see. Let's see what you guys have this morning. Norm, anything you like on your end that we have not touched?
No.
Okay. Let's start here with our chat room, guys. Let's go over Dan Fuel Cell. Yeah, I have it as a possible here. Let's see what it does. Pre-market action is okay.
I think it's moving in sympathy with Plug is the thing.
Yeah.
Plug, Plug was this high-flying stock that's pulled back so much because they said they were going to have to restate some financial results, which is always a little bit scary as a shareholder. You think maybe somebody's committed fraud. I mean, that's what LK, Luck and Coffee started with, for instance, after a short called them out. Then they said they had to restate results, ended up being a fraud, yada, yada, yada. It happened time and time again in companies that have just, Enroned. So they're popping up 12+% on that. They potentially have a long way to go. If that's, off the table, then who knows? So FCell, I think, is moving on that primarily.
Yeah, and again, it's just if you look at it overall, it's just Plug looking much better pre-market. So this is one you really want to watch today. I definitely like the way this is moving this morning. Heading down, ACB had earnings. What's going on there? ACB, they are down 9%, so not good. When was their earnings? Last night or pre-market? Last night, look, post-market earnings here. So they're taking a bit of a hit.
Don't get up this early.
That's true. They're down 9% right now. So 321,000 shares traded at the moment. Pre-market actions, it's not great. And again, ACB, I think they used to trade a lot more volume, right? I mean, I haven't really seen them lately.
Those haven't been trading that way. It hadn't been trading that well recently.
So I'm not a fan of what I'm seeing now compared to everything else that we might possibly get. And again, guys, we'll have to look at the SPY too. You see the way the SPY has been moving. Jair's been talking about this. If the SPY starts squeezing here, when pushing up here to above this 412, which as you can tell is a great level of support here and resistance. Look at the SPY chart on the daily overall, right? It does like to stay above that level. Hopefully, if we do that and we push up, we got to keep our eyes on the Apples of the world, because they're going to move together with the market, and Apple has been moving very well. And if you look at Apple's daily, I like the way we're sitting here too. So Apple is nice. I'm going to put that one on here. The ACBs and these other ones that are just not getting great volume might not be a good one to watch today. NKLA might also fall under that same category, guys. If you look at this one, pre-market action is just not all exciting. It could be a hit or miss on this one as well. I think we're just going to find better stocks today to look at. Here is, we looked at Dash, guys. Again, just not an easy stock to trade. They're up nicely, 7.5. If you do like this one, you keep it on deck. Just be very, very careful with the spread and with the volume, right? Normally, they don't get a whole lot of volume, so the price action might be a little funky at times. Plug, we do have on deck. That one is good. Apple, yes, I do like Apple here, guys, as well. Apple, 900,000 shares traded, good volume. A little bit choppy here, but this is just following whatever the market is doing right now, right? The market is kind of leading the way a little bit here. So we'll see what it does. I do like the daily here for a possible run if we can get that today. NKLA, we looked at GE. Yeah, GE doesn't move, doesn't trade very well. They have a few days. They had a few days a while back here at the beginning of the year. Like here, they had a couple of good breakouts where you got probably $1.50 or so, $1.25. That was nice. But for the most part, they don't move a whole lot in there. There's just, it's just a massive stock, with a huge float. So it's just not a good intraday type trading stock. All right, let's stop here. Norm's favorite. I highly doubt that is. Are you saying GE is Norm's favorite? I don't think so. I do not think so.
It's garbage.
All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's start here with our YouTube chat. What do we have this morning? Plug is on deck. That is good. AMC, we do have as well. Both of them looking really nice this morning. AMC with an amazing day yesterday. Great volume already this morning, up 4.1. Tesla, I thought I added Tesla as a possible. I should have. Tesla's a possible here. We have NIO on deck and Tesla also. Let's see what movement we can get out of there. QS, I normally don't like QS. Let's see what's going on though. I normally do not like this one. There was a pop that was nice a couple of weeks ago. After that, I haven't really seen much. We had one more day here. I don't recall how this was. Today, they're getting some kind of movement here. 100,000 shares just dropped here. I'm not sure if there's anything news going on or whatever. But again, they are on the daily. They are coming back. They're below this area of support. So they came back to this. Can they, can they hold this 26 and get going to some of these other higher levels? 34 or 36 is up here as well. 39. That'll be interesting. But for the most part, it's just one of these stocks you got to be careful with. IHT we do have, that is the low flow of the day. It is a REIT, so you got to be careful, but it's trading a little bit better than most REIT do. And Nor mentioned probably because of the float. The float on this was 2.9, so that could be helping it. But we'll see. Just again, as any regular low flow stock, 2.9, you got to be very, very careful with this. We have a Futu.
They just want you to say it the right way.
I know you're dying for me. You're waiting. I know. I feel it.
You said it a few times, Futu, instead of
Futu here, guys. This one we looked at it again. I'm not sure about the stock, guys. It's up 5%. 298,000 shares traded. The daily looks interesting. It's holding on the support level here that was prior area consolidation, resistance, and all that. That could be interesting if it can hold here and push up. But I believe that if this pushes up here with the SPY, you're going to find better tickers to play. You're going to find Apple. You're going to find Plug. You're going to find the ones that we've been looking at, guys. Even Disney. Disney's down right now. But if this thing can start closing this gap a little bit, we'll have to see. Let's see how the market does here. You got Marriott, you got Riot, you got some of these other stocks that are really beat up. NIO, Tesla. We'll see how they play out if the market is going to be strong today. All right, what else we have? ALF. Yeah, now this one Norm does like. ALF. Yeah, this one here.
I like the show. I don't like the stock this morning.
So ALF is this morning.
It traded pretty well for a few days, but I think it's toast.
Yeah, it did very good here when it started out. Now it's just kind of flatlining here, and the pre-market is showing you that now 21,000 shares traded is not a whole lot.
Ate too many cats.
Yes. Coin, what's going on with Coin here? Coin at the moment, they're up 4.8, 211,000 shares traded. Again, guys, just another one. We talked about this several times this week and last. It is not a great intraday trading stock, so just be careful on this. Again, the spread at times could be pretty crappy, 40, 50 cents plus, so be mindful of that. And this thing can move. You want to make your money here on the move and not the number of shares you take. If you look at this one candle here with almost no volume, right? Only at 18,000. I know it's the pre-market, so consider that. You're making 274 to 270. That's a $4 move with barely any volume. And that's kind of what you see in the pre-market when it opens up as well. Look at this day here. You're getting 9.8 and you're moving, what is this, 20, 30 bucks here. Maybe 40, 300 almost. So again, there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to, and Andrew said this a great thing in his webinar that he did on Wednesday, part 1 of the webinar. And someone asked about the recording. It will be up today, part 1, and then on Tuesday we're going to have part 2. You just have to adjust the way your strategy is and the way you trade. So if you have a trade book for this, you have a play for this, then by all means, go for it. But the way we are set up, right, the way we normally trade, Norm, I know you trade this way too, a lot of the moderators, a lot of members of the community, we need great volume and great price action, right? We're very big on the price action being tight, the volume too, the order flow. You're not going to get that on something like this with 9 million shares moving, 30 bucks, right? So again, you just got to adjust your strategy to meet this type of stock, right? Usually not what we look at. All right, with that said, guys, let's stop here. Let's go over to announcements. I think we did a pretty good job of covering other stuff that's hot. We got some other ones here, JD, TLRY. Again, like you said, Norm, the pot stuff hasn't really been in play. It doesn't look good. Yeah. OCGN is here, though. OCGN could be interesting. What did it do yesterday? I didn't see the action. Was it any good? Okay, nice drop. But again, I think a lot of things did that. So let's add OCGN as well. And if we have some more time in the back end, we can add some more also. All right, let's go over to our community events. If I find the button, is it this one? Oh, there we go.
All right. As he mentioned, part 1 of Andrew's webinar should be posted today. And then we're going to have part 2 next week. So stay tuned for that. Mike's webinar, I believe, is already posted. That's from Wednesday. Or did that got mixed, right?
Yeah. So we
okay.
kind of
These are all
moved
messed
things.
up, and
Yes, yeah.
we'll have it cleaned up and corrected by Monday.
Yeah.
Next week, do we have NADA?
NADA is next week, and Mike is going to be, I believe, at the end of the month. So we haven't scrapped it. It'll come back later at the end of the month. Yep.
Nice. All right. Sometimes you just got to make way for the boss man to come in.
That's
NADA
right.
next week, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about let the storm of emotions pass without drowning you. Very, very important. Very important to learn to let go in this business. Matter of fact, great book. What is it? The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I would highly recommend. And excuse my language, but that is the title of the book, and very pertinent to trading as well. If you want to participate in the member trade of the day, trade of the week, take a screenshot of your best trade of the day. Obviously, it should have entries and exits so we can see the trade, mark it up. Any commentary you can do to describe the strategy, post it on Twitter, tagging at Bearable Traders, at MikeB_BBT, and at NormBBT. Also use hashtags BBT Family, Day Trading, and Stock Market. We'll pick a winner for each day and announce that on Twitter in the afternoon. And then we will vote on all the trades of the day for the week, posted on Twitter on Monday, showing the trade of the week. All right. If you're watching us on YouTube and haven't tried out the chat, you can do the intro membership at a discount. Use the promo code premarket24. That will get you a discount off the 7-day trial. Doesn't auto renew or turn into any other kind of membership. Gives you a week to try us out, see if you like the community. If you want to join, you actually have to physically go change your membership. Also, if you want to become an elite member and get access to all the webinars that we're discussing, use the promo code Memorial40 to get 40% off the annual elite membership.
All right, thank you. Sorry, I was on mute there for a second. All right, guys, let's get to it. Let's fine tune this list here. Let's go ahead and switch over the screens. Perfect. All right, let's start here. We will look at Disney. We have Bngo. This one, Bngo, looking good this morning, guys. Getting going here. So volume is great on this one. Looks very, very nice. FSR, it's okay. I do like the pop we're getting here. I like the base we have over off of 10. So that's nice. Plug this morning. That one's also looking very good, guys. Nice pop this morning. Great pre-market action. Great volume, 2.5. AMC also had a big day yesterday. Possible continuation here, guys. Up 4.6 right now. Great volume. Let's see how it traded yesterday. I didn't see the action on yesterday's trading day, but yeah, got going pretty early. As you can see here, did break through some of these levels we had. Broke the pre-market high. Did get a nice little retest of the pre-market high level there, looks like, and then just took off. So again, some pretty good action there without seeing how the actual price action was. The chart looks very good this morning already. Great volume. Let's see if we have some room to get over to this high of the day yesterday, which also seems to be an area we had previous resistance right on there. So looking pretty good there. Heading down, we do have Apple. Apple's good as well, and we have OCGN. Pre-market action, OCGN, not great. Their daily, though, has been pretty interesting. We've seen some pretty good action out of this one. Maybe this will be a possible. We'll have to wait and see. Then we got some other ones on here. We can move probably Mara up. We know the Bitcoin is in play today. Actually, I do want to have one of the Bitcoin stocks in here. This one actually might be better than OCGN at the moment. I like OCGN because it's been treating us well the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to probably move this one down this morning and keep Mara up here to just watch one of these Bitcoin plays. All right, so we have OCGN down here. Mara we can remove from our secondary. We have Raya, another possible play. Mara just seems to look a little bit better. Slightly a little more volume. Fuel cell, not really a lot going on there. Plug is the one to look at. I have Neo and Tesla here. These are always fun to always keep, just on deck in case something comes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How are we on time? 9:01. Yeah, we can get through these with no problem. Let's do levels for these guys. We have Disney here. High of the pre-market for Disney is 172.50. We'll throw a level there towards the bottom, guys. We're looking at 170.30. Now, Disney had earnings last night, as Norm mentioned, less subscribers than they expected. So right here, they're down quite a bit, 4%. decent volume. Pre-market action really all over the place. Let's see if it can get better and what it wants to do here. If it can break out of these this range 172, 170 towards the top or bottom this morning. Next level towards the top is going to be area of resistance. Is yesterday's low right around 176. Why is this thing? Hold on a second. Yep, there we go. I'm not sure what that black spot was there. 172.50 high of the pre-market, 170.30 low of the pre-market. Low of yesterday around 176 is your next area of resistance towards the top. If we go towards the left here, we got a couple of levels that we can mark down. I definitely want something between this pre-market high and the next one up on the list, and that's going to be probably this one right on here. We got a couple of touches around 174. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but if you draw a line right on there, guys, you're going to see a great area of touches there, support and resistance. As a couple of days opening and closing right around that area here as well. So that's what I want, that 174.12 there, just in case we can we start to close this gap. That could be a good spot to aim for. Towards the bottom, in case we go the other way, right now getting a nice little breakout here above the moving averages and the VWAP. If we go towards the bottom, we do have another level here. 166 is probably the best level we have. If you look at this 170, this 170, guys, is great. I'm zooming a little more. It's a great area of support on the daily, and that is where we're bouncing off from now. If you look at this area here, tons of support here over a span of what? This is a couple of months, 2 months almost on there. So that 170 is a great area of support. Let's see if we're going to hold that in the pre-market. Right now, we're sitting a little bit of a pop. Then below that, the next area is going to be right on here. Great resistance here, great support, more support happening at that 166. You don't have a whole lot in here. You got a couple of days with their wicks down there. Maybe that could be a minor area of support as well. You know what? Yes, that could be a minor area of support. Let's mark that down right over here, slightly around 167. It's not going to be at 166. It's not going to be at 170 where you have so many touches, but you definitely want to have that on there. Bngo this morning looking good, guys. Great pre-market action. Let's get rid of some of these levels. Actually, no, this 550, 580, still good. Still a good level here on the daily, guys. Still, you see the resistance support right on there, and is relevant to where our price action is. So we'll keep it on there. And then we're also slamming against this area of resistance. The last of 2 days here, 1 and 2. You can see here struggling to get above that. This morning we're slightly above that 517 with our pre-market high, so we'll mark that there over at 527 pre-market high right now. Let's see if we can get going. And then slightly above that, we do have this other level here, resistance and support at 555 right on there, guys. Support, and we have some resistance on there as well. So again, plenty of stuff going on for BNGO. Towards the bottom, your cover, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. You do not need to add any more there. Let's look at FSR. FSR this morning, they are up 15.1. Volume is 1 million. Great pop this morning off the 10 level area support right on here. So that is nice. We do have 1169 high of the pre-market, low of the pre-market down at 1099, basically 11. And then below that, guys, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days pretty much got you covered towards the bottom. Towards the top here, we do have a great level here. A nice little bounce. I love when you get this bounce like this, change in direction. That gives this level a lot more weight to it, 1232. So 1232, great change in direction. On the way down, you see we hesitate to get below this level. The next day, we're gapping down. So it tells you that, you know, if it was going to be strong, this is where it was going to bounce from, because you do have, you know, the slower pace on the way down here. So 1232, great area. If we can get above this 1169 today, already tested it a few times in the pre-market action, staying above the VWAP, at least trying to go back up there and test that one more time. So FSR is good, guys. Great volume right now. Here is Plug, and just Plug continues to make higher lows here on the 5 minute and really slamming down into, I know the pre-market high is this one here, 24.97, but look how we're just again slamming against this 24.77 here over and over again, with just creating higher lows, right? So let's see if we can break out of that.
Plug's right up. Plug is bumping its head right up against the 200 moving average on the 60-minute chart. That's what's holding it there.
Oh yeah,
okay. It looks like it wants to bust through. That's a pretty strong 60. So
what did I just do? Did I hit the wrong keys here? Oh yeah, I did hit the wrong keys. Yeah, where's my 60?
Here we go. Launch.
There it is.
It goes right through.
Let's try it. Yep. Yeah, it makes perfect sense, guys. Look at this.
Make a high. I went for 25. I'm long from 24.62 on this.
Nice. There it is. Beautiful. Nice pop there. You see that? People are getting stopped out or
First partial
squeezed there.
2503.
There we go.
I'm going to go back
Excellent,
into the
guys.
shadows now.
Love it. How can you not love Norm? Huh? Tell me about it. How can you not love this guy? He comes in out of nowhere. He's in the dark. Comes in, calls out the trade. He's in and goes back into.
I got some really vicious hate mail because of a conversation about this shirt. So just a heads up.
It's all fun and games. I mean, you got to have sense of humor, guys. They must not know you very well, Norm. You know, if you know Norm, you know it is all fun and game, guys. It really is, and you have to. If you're trading, you have to have a sense of humor. This is a tough career, very stressful, and you missed it. We had a lot of fun. BYND, you were off that day. BYND dropped, and we said it was because of your shirt. We blamed it on you on that day. So. All right, guys, let's get back to it. Plug taking off nicely here, guys. 24.97, 60 minutes. Just tons of levels as we just discussed now, slamming up against that. And you can see here the nice little pop. Norm getting a nice little breakout there this morning. All right, let's head back down to the rest of the list here. Our 5-minute chart coming back here again. We're gonna leave these levels as they are right now. We're not gonna mark down the high of the pre-market yet. Let's see where that develops. I tell you this much: next level on the daily though is right over here, over at around 2670. So here you see area of resistance, some good support happening there as well. Let's see if we can get up there. We're going to struggle at 26 for sure. The whole dollar numbers tend to do that. But for the most part, 26.73 would be nice. Here's AMC also starting to get going this morning. Pre-market high being set over at 13.58. But I do like this area here, guys. This is more towards the 13.52. You had great resistance there. You see the battle happening here as well. I'm going to keep that level. And we can also mark down the high of the pre-market, 13.58 as well. So we'll see what happens there. Towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from the last two trading days. A nice big pop up yesterday. Here we are going to do 12.12. And then that is a great one there too. You can see the resistance, support, more resistance. Again, that beautiful resistance with a change in direction is always nice. So you're gonna put some weight on that, a little bit more weight on that level. And then here, guys, we do have 11.50 at 52, also great area of resistance as well. If we head towards the bottom here, right? Towards the top, we got plenty to go through. We have this 13.58, 13.52. You can see here also going back to the left. Couple of days opening, closing right around that area. Above that, we do have the highs from yesterday, and also the highs from yesterday around, what is that, 14.25 or so. You can see resistance here as well for a couple of days, trying to get above that. They were not able to, and they, beautiful slam down here, of course. So AMC is good, guys. Great volume right now, 4.8. That is looking nice. Apple this morning, they are also trying to push higher. Great resistance area right on here. I'm going to mark this down, guys. I know this is not the high of the pre-market, but I'd rather have this. I'd rather put more weight on this level here as we're trying to break out, which we're doing now, than I am going to put on this one, right? Here we do have, that's the high of the pre-market, your 126.68, which is important, right? But again, it's just happening with no volume, right? So I'd rather put more weight on something like this here for the breakout of that, right? So I'm going to put it right there. You can see how many touches we have on that pre-market high. Towards the top, guys, plenty of levels here. Love this one over at 127.97 here, and you can see the support you're getting here. The few times we did below that, we tested this 126.63, right, and we shot right back up to stay above this 127.97. That could be a great target to go to next if we start pushing higher here. Above that, we have another one, 129.50. Again, more resistance on there, so I got a little bit of a ping pong action going on there also, so that could be good. Towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last two trading days got you covered, guys. Do not need to add anything more. Let's take a look at Mara right now. Mara is, again, their pre-market action is good, guys. Look at the way they're moving here. This is a beautiful pre-market action for Mara. They do have okay volume starting to pick up, 653,000 shares traded. We are up 10%. Let's see if we can squeeze above this level here on the 5-minute, 2170. Pre-market high all the way at 22.10. We'll mark that as well, because if you get a move from here to here, that's a nice move, guys. Let's not underestimate this move here, 21.75 to 21.10, right? 22.10. So yes, it looks small on the chart, but that's a very nice move for a stock that's trading at $20 there. Towards the bottom, guys, highs and lows from yesterday. We do have a pre-market low hanging around 20.36, so we'll throw a level there. Above this area of resistance, which we're trying to get above now, you do have more highs and lows up here over at 26. So I don't think we need to add anything more on Mara. Let's hope that if we are long on this one at the market open, that our boy Elon Musk tweets something that he's going to accept Bitcoin again, and then we can skyrocket up to 40 or so very, very easily. All right, so that's our list this morning, guys. We do have some good time at the moment. Possibles list: OCGN, Riot, Fuel Cell, Neo, and Tesla down here as well. Oh, they're looking okay, but we got a pretty decent list towards the top this morning. Let's take a look at our moderators lineup. Let's bring our visuals in so we can see what's happening there and see what our moderators like this morning to end the week on this beautiful, beautiful Friday. Here we go. Okay, there we are. So how can I just got to make this smaller. Hold on. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right, guys, let's start with Jared. Is Jared the first one on here? No. Oh, no, we got a few people very early on here. Moderators are building their list very early. Peter's IPOs first. We have SVFD, Vera, HCG, ZN, CENV, and also SPKU and DBGI. Thor is looking at his watch list, main list: PLTR, Plug, FSR, Fubo. We'll look at that one. I don't think we took a shot of that one. Secondary list: CCL and also LI. He's looking at scanners as well. Dima is looking at Plug, Fuso, Mara, and Apple. All very nice this morning. John is looking at Coin, Piton, and Billy. Billy's good. I like the way Billy trades. Hold on a second. Here we go. Jared is looking at Riot, Mara, Coin. He's also looking at Plug and FSR. He's looking at all the Bitcoin stuff, as he mentioned in his pre-market show, Engineering the Markets. Let's make sure you guys support us by hitting that thumbs up over on YouTube. We really, really appreciate it. Peter, main list: Apple, Plug, AMC. Secondary list: AMD, Coin, and FSR this morning. Tiffany's looking at Plug, Disney, Mara. Secondary list: Apple and Tesla. And Jared's adding Disney to his list as well for a possible play there. Brian is looking at Plug, FSR, Mara, Disney, ABNB, and also GDX. Mike is looking at Disney, and Andrew's looking at Plug, AMC, Mara, and FSR. Again, just pretty similar stuff that we're watching. Some slight variations. I see some people are looking at what's the one we looked at? Billy. Let's see what's going on with Billy. Not a whole lot right now. And then we also saw Fubo from Thor. Let's take a look at those. Fubo could be interesting. Not a whole lot going on right now, but we've seen the stock be very, very explosive. Today they're up 3.1. Volume is not quite there yet, but we'll see if they can get going. Interesting daily though, that's for sure. All right, guys, that is what we have. Thank you so much for joining this pre-market show over on YouTube. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you for spending the time with us this week. If you're new, consider subscribing. Make sure you hit that thumbs up and have an amazing week. And we're going to continue here in our chat room. For those that have not seen our chat room, let us show you guys what that looks like. If you're new, we'd love to show you. We got a couple of minutes here. And give us a try. Give us a try. Come in, do the pre-market 24. You get 1 week trial. No commitment. You're not gonna get sucked in and build like some monthly services do. I hate that because you forget about it.
Well, and that's the thing is people are hesitant, but you go sign up for that, it cancels. So if you like us, you have to proactively go in and sign up for a longer term membership.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. So here's our chat, guys. Here's our alerts throughout the day. We put alerts here, whatever's important is happening. Here's our members chat. We also have a Spanish tab. We have a swing options tab. So it's just a lot going on. So give it a shot. Come on in and see what we're all about, guys. Over on YouTube, take care, trade safe. Remember, it is Friday, so today you want to be very, very careful with your trades. You want to go into the weekend. Relax, not stressed that you broke your rules, that you went FOMO and you revenge traded and did all the things that you should not be doing. They're bad to do every day, but today's the worst day to do that because you got 2 days to sit on it, think about it, and not be in the moment tomorrow when you're sitting for breakfast with your family, friends. Don't do that. Just don't do it. Trust me, I'm talking from experience. Norm, we've been through this after years of trading.
I won't trade again today. I took that plug trade. I'm done. I got out of it above 25.30. Mm-hmm. And I won't take another one because too many times I've given back my day on Friday or more, and it's just 2 days of stewing over it.
Yeah, walk away and start the weekend, man. So guys, take care, trade safe over on YouTube and TradingView. Thank you for seeing us there. Hit that thumbs up. We highly appreciate it. It does help us a lot. So make sure you hit that thumbs up. And next week, if we get enough thumbs up on our video, we'll set a number, Norm. for next week. We'll go live with Andrew.
Yeah, we'll have some fun next week.
Yeah,
How
let's
about
do
that?
Yeah.
And I want to answer a question. Heather over on YouTube just asked, how many women traders do we have in the chat? Women, can you chime in? Well, you don't have the chat up anymore. We have a lot. We actually have a women's group that, chime in there. There you go. Watch that. A lot of women, I've spoken to women here that actually came and used a male screen name because they were worried about going into a boys club, and it's nothing like that.
No,
so we're very proud of how that works out, and we appreciate all the women here. We got some great women traders in here.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and shout out to Tiffany and also Dima for an amazing job they do with the ladies group and their chat. They meet on a regular basis, guys. On a regular basis, I think monthly. It's just a matter
every 2 weeks, one or the other.
Yeah. It's just amazing what they're doing over there. So
and despite the jokes, we love vegans here too. We have I joke about it. More power to you. If you have the discipline and ability to do that, it's awesome. We've got a vegan chef in here that was on Chopped.
Megan.
I don't know that she's up right. Yep. Peter's podcast. You can go check that out. So can you pull up the website real quick?
Yes,
and I know we're running over time, Andrew. We will we'll hand it over to you in just a second. But pull up the website real quick if you would, Carlos.
Yep. Which page you want me to go to?
Homepage. Just go to the homepage. So because Brittany on YouTube is asking, how do you get the intro membership? And we don't ever talk about this. So just go to barebulltraders.com, scroll down here, get past all this stuff, and you'll start to see the membership info. There you go, that test drive right there. Click test drive now, then use that promo code premarket24, and that'll get you the discount.
$24. Yep, save a couple of bucks there. So take advantage of that. Guys, we'd love to see you there. Monday, we're having our onboarding webinar. So if you join that, I'll see you Monday alongside Mike, Kyle, and the rest of the gang there. We'll go over a few things on our website and our community. So take care, guys. Trade safe. We will let you go now. And we will see you on Monday. Have an amazing, amazing weekend. Take care, guys.
I hope everybody has a great weekend. Take care, guys. Trade safe.